Awesome sauce, you're almost through level 1. Let's get going with 1C, all about long division. So we're just focusing on whole numbers for this. We'll deal with decimals when we get to level 2. Let's build our understanding of how to do long division. Now, one quick thing I want to mention that I'll also mention in some of our mini lessons too, is that when you've been doing long division in the past, you have been, it's either been called like Big 7 or partial quotients or something like that. We are going to do something a little bit different when it comes to decimals, and so we're going to build that foundation here. So when I set up my problem, I need you to set it up exactly how I have it, otherwise it's going to mess you up when you try and do decimals later. Trust me, I'm the one who's been teaching this a while, and I've done this for a really long time, so I gotta have you trust me that you gotta set it up the way I'm saying. You're still doing something very, very similar as before, you're just tweaking it a little. So be patient and do it with me, okay? So the first thing first is let's get a little bit of vocab out of the way. We want to make sure we know the wording of what these two numbers represent, okay? So the first number here, the one that comes before the division symbol when you write it horizontally like this, is called the dividend, okay? Dividend. Make sure you're filling that in with your pencil ready to go with your packet, okay? If you need to pause the video to get that taken care of, please do. The second number after the division symbol is called the divisor, okay? So, when you go to set up this problem, you have to, oops, one sec. Sorry about that. I took care of it, making sure it looks right. So, we draw our division symbol first, our long division symbol first. So, like with Big 7, you normally bring it straight down here. We do not want to do that. That's going to mess us up when we start doing decimals, okay? So, I always picture this as kind of like a garage, right? Like the part of a garage that is kind of like a house, right? Like if you can picture that, those of you very visual learners. So if you think of that, right, this is a one-car garage, okay? We don't have a fancy home. We just got a one-car garage, but at least we got one. And so to help you remember which number goes where as far as inside the garage versus out, is the analogy I like to use is that the first person home, so first number, gets to park in the garage, right? If you're the first one home, no one's in the garage, so you get to park in it. The second person has to park outside, so they have to be outside the garage. So when we go to set that up, we're going to always have, when it's written left to right like this, the first number goes into the garage. But instead of just saying first number, let's practice saying the dividend. So the dividend, which in this case is 304, is going to go in our garage, in our long division symbol. The second number, which is our divisor, is going to be 8, and it has to park outside the garage. Bummer. So that's how we set this up. So make sure you're following along with me. So then we're going to use what we call this algorithm. That's just a really fancy word for steps we follow to solve a problem. Okay. So we always start first by dividing. What I mean by that is, because obviously all this is dividing, is that you're going to take your divisor and you're trying to ask how many times will your divisor fit into your dividend. But I don't want to look at this whole number because it's going to make it kind of difficult. So I want to focus on how many times is 8, and first check, will it fit into the first number? So does 8 fit into 3? Well, it doesn't. It's too big. So now we have to move over to the next number. So I'm kind of ignoring this 4 for a moment. And so we need to think, how many times does 8 fit into 30? Okay, so 8 does fit into 30, and it fits in 3 times. Okay, that's the first part. The second part is to multiply. So now we take that 3 that we just said, hey, 8 fits in 30 3 times, and we do 3 times 8 gives us 24. So that was the multiplying piece. Check. So now we are going to subtract to see what leftovers we have because it didn't fit in perfectly. Okay, so we're going to subtract, and we end up with 30 minus 24 to give us 6. Okay, so we did that subtract part. Last part. Oh, and real quick, one little thing you might want to add in between your subtract and bring down step is we want to check. This is a great way to see if you missed a group up here. So like, for example, let's say we thought it only fit in twice and we put a 2 up here. Well, then that means our number down here would have been bigger than 8. So we always want to check that after we subtract and before we bring down, we check that this number is less than our divisor. That way we didn't miss any groups up here. So 6 is less than 8, so that means we got as many groups as possible. So we are good to go in bringing down our 4 to make 64 now. So now I'm asking, so now we start the process again, right? So now I'm asking, how many times does 8 fit into 64? Well, yay, happy thoughts, it fits in exactly 8 times. So we did our divide, now we multiply, so 8 times 8 is 64. I'm going to subtract, and yay on this subtraction because we end up with 0. And we have no more numbers to bring down. 0 is, of course, less than 8, and so our final answer is 38. So please either circle or rewrite your answer, or you can do both if you like, so we clearly know your answer. Okay? Let's try just a couple more. I'm not going to go quite as slow, so if you need to go back and take a look at something, please rewind the video. But otherwise, we're going to move on. So we've got 720 divided by 6. So our dividend, remember, first number when it's written like this. Not necessarily first number in real world problems, but when it's written like this, it's always the first number. So it is 720. Our divisor then is 6. So dividend is the first number, so it gets to park into the garage. So we're going to put it in our garage. Our divisor has to park outside. It was second. Okay, and we start our process, right? Remember how we had the divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Just kind of get that routine in your head. Okay, so we first check the first number, right? Can 6 fit into 7? It sure can. It fits in 1 time. Now let's multiply. 1 times 6 gives us 6. Then we subtract. And again, if I'm going too fast, please feel free to pause your video and go back and take a look at something. 7 minus 6 gives us 1. We check 1 is less than 6, so we are good to go in bringing down our 2. So we bring down the 2. Now we're asking how many times does 6 fit into 12? You should be thinking happy thoughts because it fits in 2 times exactly. So that was our divide. Now we multiply. So 2 times 6 gives us 12. And we got 12 minus 12 to give us 0. Oops, where did my line go? There it is. Okay. Now we do still have a number to bring down. However, since it's 0, we can figure out that 6 fits into 0 times. So we're going to just go ahead and put a 0 up there. And we know that it's not 12 as our answer. It's 120 as our answer. So we're either going to circle that or rewrite it, or both, your choice. Okay, one more here. Now, if you would like to try this one on your own and then check with us, feel free. If you want to do that, pause your video now. If you want to do it together, let's go ahead and give it a start. So, dividend, first number, 238. Divisor, second number, 7. Our first number, which is our dividend, gets to go park in the garage. And our second number has to park outside. So we go through our process of divide, then we multiply, we subtract, we bring down. So we're going to divide. 7 does not fit into 2, so I have to ask if 7 fits into 23, ignoring the 8 for a second. So 7 fits into 23, yep, it does. It fits in 3 times. So then 3 times 7, we're doing our multiplying, gives us 21. And then 23 minus 21, because we want to subtract now, leaves us with 2. And 2, yay, is less than 7. That means we did not miss any groups up here. So we're going to go ahead and bring down the 8. And 7 fits into 28. 4 times exactly. Happy, happy thoughts. So we do 4 times 7 to give us that 28. And we subtract to end with our 0. There we go. My line keeps messing up. Oh, wherever it is. Anywho, no more numbers to bring down. 0 is, of course, less than 7, so our answer is 34. Some things are trying to hide on me. There it is, okay? So, you have a quick check to go get. Remember, they're in the black hanging pockets in the back, so feel free to do that. If you need to go back and look at something else in this video before your quick check to make sure you truly have this, please feel free to do that. Otherwise, move forward. When you get that quick check, give it a go. Make sure you get a teacher signature on it before moving on. Good luck.